फाइन. सो गुड आफ्टरनून टू ऑल. सो हम लास्ट क्लास में देख रहे थे, हम लोगों ने लास्ट क्लास में ये देख लिया था व्हाट इज हाउ वी कैन कलेक्ट data from samples of the population and difference between the samples and the population. Now we'll start with sampling. So usually uh, our sample should be randomly selected when we are trying to collect our sample. So our major focus should be that like we should collect all those samples randomly, and it should represent whole population. हमको ऐसा नहीं करना है कि लेट से जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल हम एस ट्रिपल वी स्टूडेंट्स में से ही फीडबैक लेने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, तो वी शुड नॉट फोकस ऑन लाइक एस वी आई आई टी. हमको अगर फीडबैक लेना है तो हमको सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स का भी से सारे स्टूडेंट्स भी यूज़ करने पड़ेंगे एज एन सैम्पल. फाइन. सो ऐसा नहीं है कि हमारा जो पॉपुलेशन है, मतलब लाइक मैं यहाँ पर कुछ ड्रा करने की कोशिश करता हूँ. लाइक मेरा कुछ सेट ऐसा है, ओवरऑल सैंपल ऐसा है, ये मेरा सेट है. तो मैं ऐसा नहीं करूँगा कि हमारा जो डेटा है मैं सिर्फ इस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट से या इस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट से लूँगा. मेरा जो भी डेटा होगा वो रेंडमली इस पूरे एरिया में से आना चाहिए था. सो द मेजर कंसर्न जो है हमारा वो यही है. फाइन. देन सो what we are trying to do is like we can use a probability sampling methods, like we can use a random functions or random sampling or stratified sampling or different types of the sampling that certainly helps to reduce the risk of sampling bias. Because जैसे हमने इस पर्टिकुलर पे देखा था, तो यहाँ पर इस पर्टिकुलर लोकेशन पर हमारे पास कुछ एक फोकस यहाँ आ रहा था, एक फोकस यहाँ आ रहा था. तो हो सकता था ये सर्टन एरिया जो होगा वो किसी एक पर्टिकुलर रेशो पर बायस्ड होगा, ये पर्टिकुलर जो एरिया होगा वो किसी एक पर्टिकुलर थिंग पर बायस्ड होगा. फॉर एन एग्जांपल लेट्स से हम फोकस करते हैं, लेट्स से दिस इज पर्टिकुलर मैप ऑफ इंडिया, लेट्स से कंसीडर. और हम सैंपल ऑल ओवर इंडिया से लेने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. फाइन. लेट से हम इलेक्शन के लिए कर रहे हैं, पर अगर हम फोकस इस पर्टिकुलर एरिया पे करते हैं, इस पर्टिकुलर एरिया पे, लेट से दिस इज इन बंगाल एंड दिस इज लाइक तमिलनाडु. फाइन. सो जब हम यहाँ बंगाल की बात कर रहे हैं, फाइन. सो मेजर कंसर्न ये है कि 50% जो सीट्स हैं वो एनडीए को जाएगी एंड 50% के सीट्स जो हैं वो अदर को जाएंगी. यहाँ पर अगर हम बात करें तो यहाँ 50% सीट्स जो हैं वो लेट्स से ए आई सॉरी 90% सीट जो है ए आई डी एम के या डी एम के को जाएगी, बाकी अदर देन पार्टीज को यहाँ बहुत कम जाएगी. तो इस हिसाब से जब हम कैलकुलेशन कर रहे हैं तो मोदी जी की पॉपुलरिटी बहुत कम आ रही है. अगर हम पूरे ऑल ओवर इंडिया से कैलकुलेशन करने की कोशिश करें या सैम्पलिंग करने की कोशिश करें तो बट ऑब्वियस है कि पॉपुलरिटी थोड़ी सी बढ़ेगी प्राइम मिनिस्टर की. फाइन. सो फोकस इज लाइक our sample should represent whole population. Fine. So if we are going to represent whole population in our sample, so there should be a lower risk of sampling bias, and thus it enhance both the internal and the external validity. Because जैसे हम बात कर रहे थे कि बंगाल और तमिलनाडु की जो वोटर से हम सारे रिव्यूज़ ले लें या फीडबैक्स ले लें और उसके बाद बताएं कि इंडिया का प्राइम मिनिस्टर कौन बनेगा, तो उसकी ना तो इंटरनल वैलिडिटी है ना उसकी एक्सटर्नल वैलिडिटी है. फाइन. सो फॉर द प्रैक्टिकल रीजंस what researchers do is that they use oftenly like non-probability sampling methods. Either we can go for probability sampling methods, पर बहुत सारे रिसर्चर्स जो है वो नॉन प्रोबेबिलिटी सैम्पलिंग मेथड्स को भी यूज़ करते हैं. सो लाइक we are having different criteria for going to particular non-probability sampling methods. Like one specific criteria is like they are more convenient, or we can say that these are more cheaper to access. Fine. So this might be a criteria because convenience and cost is one major issues in research and the sampling. Fine. So because of the non-random selections and like we are going for statistical inference instead of like going for probabilistic uh, randomness or probabilistically selecting samples from your population. So we can go for like statistical inference. So it will give some broader population, uh, or we can say that fine. Uh, when we are going from the probability sampling, like for this probability sampling, we might compute samples from the different uh, areas of your population, or we are collecting, or we are going for whole population. While when we are going from the non-random selection sampling, so there is a probability that you should go for, or you should struck on this biased, and so you'll get some uh, weaker samples than compared to the probability samples. So these are, we are having different sampling methods. So will in our syllabus we are including like random sampling and stratified sampling. So we'll stuck on only to those sampling methods. Otherwise we are having lots of sampling methods available. So what are the major reasons for the sampling? Is first is the necessity. What is the necessity? Is a necessity, like sometimes it is very simple uh, to collect few data. Fine. When we are going for the whole population, uh, the whole population is we could not contact all whole population at a single point. So it is very simple for going from selecting few samples right from the whole population. Then practicality, it is very easier and more efficient to collect data from the sample instead of going from your whole population. Then cost effectiveness, this is an obvious cost because you are collecting only few samples of data instead of whole population. So this is in cost effectiveness. And finally the manageability, because storing and running all those population in your database, it is computational cost, your storage cost. So lots of cost available, as well as the manage, how you can manage the whole data. So manageability, cost effectiveness, practicability, and necessity is the major reasons for your sampling. Fine. Now before going to the sampling, will focus on some variables and the functions and the central tendencies and locations and the dispersions of our data. Let's say we like to understand our data. So in your population or in our samples, like we are usually interested in certain characteristics of our objects in your population. So like for an example, like a number of songs, a song sung by Arijit Singh, or the type of bugs in your particular software application, or the gender of engineering graduates, or the age of individual graduate, and so on. So we are focusing on different characteristics, and all those characteristics are supposed to be set as an variable. Like so, this the number of songs sung by Arijit Singh, this is an variable. Again, the type of bugs is again in your variable. Or simply we can say that the number of columns in your data is supposed to be the variable of your data, like x1, x2, x3, x4. Fine. So let me draw like हमने एक बनाया था एक पेशेंट डेटा बनाया था R में. Fine. So our variable is like, this is a serial number, so we are not including this as a serial number is not a variable. Like then first is the type of diabetes, so this is type, so this is a variable. Then there it's improvement, so excellent and poor, or this might be. So these are supposed to be the variables. So when we are considering the variable, so easy to understand what is a variable. So this is a column of your data. Fine. So this might be like number of songs sung by the Arijit Singh, or the your bugs in software application. So we are having different types of data available, and for particular data we are having different variables associated for our data. Fine. Then these characteristics or this variable may be categorical, like uh, categorical data. So we had covered this categorical data and continuous data. So again we are going for this. So like this variable may be categorical. So like like the gender type. So this gender type may be in categorical data, and this type of bugs may be in categorical data. Like improvement in our patient data, this is a poor, excellent, good, improving. So all these are the categorical data. While This and this we can say that the number of songs sung by your but Arijit Singh. This is an numerical data. The age is one particular numerical data. So we are having two different types of data. This is categorical data and this is a numerical data in nature. So a variable in characteristics whose value may change from one object to another object in the population is said to be the variable. So this is my variable. This is my variable. सो हर पॉपुलेशन में हमारे पास कॉलम्स चेंज होते हैं. सो दिस इज एन वेरिएबल एंड उस वेरिएबल की वैल्यूज भी हर एक इंस्टांस पर, जैसे दिस इज वन है, ये इंस्टांस है, या मैं इसको बोलूँ रो, तो हर रो के हिसाब से इनकी वैल्यूज चेंज होती है, दूसरी रो के हिसाब से इस वेरिएबल की वैल्यू चेंज होती है. सो दिस आर सपोज टू बी द वेरिएबल. इज इट फाइन? More responses. So let's say consider a few examples like X. One example is like X is the brand of calculator owned by your particular students, or let's say variable might be the number of visits to a particular website during a specified period. Fine. So this is again a variable. Like the braking distance of your automobile under some specified conditions is again a variable. So we are at different variables. So data results from making observations either be in single variable or simultaneously we can have multiple variables in our data. So we'll focus how many variables are available and how to analyze all those data. So depending on the number of variables, we can go for univariate case, multivariate case, bivariate case, or so on. So we'll first consider the univariate case and bivariate case. This is this is a spelling mistake. This is bivariate case. Fine. So this is univariate, bivariate, and multivariate case. So we'll focus on univariate and bivariate in this semester, and then multivariate in the next semester in computational statistics in the third semester. Right? So what is an univariate analysis? So univariate analysis is the simplest form of your analyzing data. So uni means the one. So your data is only having only one variable. So we cannot find the relationship in between our data. Like let's say consider an example. So age, particular age in your class or in your institute. So I'm not considering the name and something, just an age, like this is 19, this is 20, this is again 19, this is 20, this is 22. Fine. So we are having only one variable in our data, so we could not find the relationship in between our data. So importance is like we can summarize our data like from this figure. Right from this figure we can suggest that the average age of our student in particular class is like in between 20 to 21. Fine. So we can how summarize our data, or we can find the minimum age is 29 19, and the maximum age is like 22. So here we can find the range of our data, like we can go for standard deviation and the variance of data. So this is how we can summarize our data, and it is usually used for finding the patterns of your data. What are the usual patterns of data? Like we can have most of students are of having 19, age of 19. So we can say that like the pattern in your class, like you are in first year, so pattern it has been found that on an average 19-year students is in your class in first year. Fine. So this is how we can find out the patterns from this particular data. So what is the variable in univariate analysis? This is just like a condition or subset or like category of your data. So this is how we can go for univariate case. Then let's say this is on an attendance. So मैं आपके finally आपके senior students को पढ़ा रहा था. These are the name of your senior students. So let's say we can create a frequency chart of your particular attendance, that Aditya is having 90% and Haran is having 85 and Nandini is 95. So this is how we can go for like on an average we can have like 90% attendance, and the minimum attendance is 80% and the maximum percentage is 95%. So this is how we can go for univariate analysis. So univariate descriptive analytics, we are in several options. Like we can go for frequency distribution table. So this is my frequency distribution. I am not going to frequency distribution table. Like this is frequency distribution table. So for particular 85 we are having two frequencies. Then we for 90 we are having one frequency. We can have for 80 we are having one frequency, and for 85 we are having frequency table is 2. So this is how we can go for frequency distribution table, or we can go for bar charts and the histogram charts. Fine. So like from this frequency distribution table we can create the bar charts, like for 85 we are having 2, for 90 we are having 1, for 80 we are having only 1, for like, and so on. So we are having different cases, like we can go for frequency polygons, or like we can go for the pie chart. So for this particular pie charts I can divide this in 5. For 90 is 1, 95 is again 1. So we can go for like 5 upon so this is near about 40% is having 85%, and then remaining all those percent 20% is having one uh, like 85%, 95%, and 80% of data. So this is how we can go for univariate analysis. Then if you are having more than one variable, so let's say we are having two variables in our data. So these are two variables are in data, like considering this example, ice cream sales compared to the temperature of heat. So this is an temperature, and this is particularly ice cream sales. So this is a ice cream sales. So let's say this is an 20 degree, so sale is like 4. When it is an 30 degree, so let's say sale is about 15. So then let's say this is an temperature is 40 degree, so let's say sale is at about 40 50. Fine. So this is an bivariate data, like let's say we can say that traffic accidents along with the weather on a particular day. So we can again go for weather on particular day. So this is my weather. This is a numerical data, this is again numerical data. Again we are going for traffic accidents on the weather on the particular day. So traffic accidents, so number of accidents. So this is an accident, and so another is the weather on a particular day. So weather on particular day, so this is like rainy. So accident, number of accidents over there. This is sunshine. So this is again, this is if the weather is windy, so we can have number of accidents are available. So here we can go for mapping the relationship in between these two variables, like one variable is temperature, another is sample, or one is weather, and another is the number of accidents. Fine. So it has been very useful for a particular real life. For an example, like we can predict the natural event that might occur. Let's say uh, right one example, like eruption. This is a volcano eruption, like so an eruption duration in particular uh, times, like eruption during like for 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes or 3 minutes and 3.5 minutes. So the waiting time between your eruption, so we are having two different data available, or we can go for this particular data, so we can plot scatter data over there. So right from this particular scatter data we can find whether there exists a relationship or not. Fine. So right from this particular data we can find out, like when temperature increases, the sales of your particular ice cream is increases. Fine. So we can find out the relationship. In addition to that, in bivariate case we can find out that the sale is, if there is a relationship, then we can say that the sale is dependent on the temperature of your data. So we can find out that one data is like one variable is independent and another one is a dependent. So temperature is independent and sale is dependent for data. So let's say again, bivariate analysis means that we are we are having the bivariate data, and we are like to analyzing all those data. Fine. So this is my example again, a square feet price, square feet size of a plot in square feet versus the price of uh, an particular plot. So if the square feet size is 500 square feet, then price is near about like 1 lakh. And then if the plot size is like 1000, then this is 123, 433, 434. Fine. So this is how the bivariate analysis, and we can find out the relationship in between them. Fine. So when we are considering like bivariate analysis, so we can say that we can have two sample analysis available, like we can say that this is an one sample and this is another sample. No, this bivariate analysis understand, or we, it suggests that these two particular variables are associated, like these two particular variables are dependent or independent. If we are suppose that these are dependent, so this is right from like this price is dependent on the square feet price. So this is how we can say that these are different from the uh, two sample analysis. Let's say x and y's are, in case of two sample analysis, two variables like uh, x and y. So x and y's are not directly related, but when we are going for bivariate analysis, the two samples are related. While if y is dependent on x or x is dependent on y, like price is dependent on uh, the price size of the plot. Fine. So let's say for an example, if we are having the two sample data analysis, like we are having samples like 145, then 88 and 49. Either we can go for like we had collected right from the random sampling, and right from the second sample we had collected data. This is 44, 33 and 101. So this is good. But when we are going for the bivariate analysis, we can say that uh, in this particular two sample analysis, the number of samples are 4. In particular this, we are having number of samples are 3, while in case of bivariate analysis we are having two variables like x and y. So the number of x and number of y's are equal. Fine. So this is the difference between your two sample data analysis and the bivariate analysis. Is it fine? इतना समझ में आया आप लोगों को?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, thank you. Then the types of bivariate analysis, what we can do is that we can plot scatter plot over there. हमने इस R में पढ़ा भी था. We can like we can have some regression analysis. So regression analysis in your like third chapter and so on. So this is how we can go for, or the correlation coefficients. We can find out the correlation coefficient. Fine. Then we can have multivariate analysis. So in case of multivariate analysis, we can have more than two variables are available. So we are not considering this multivariate analysis in this course, because this multivariate analysis is available in your next semester. Right? So I'm skipping all these things. Then numerical descriptives. Fine. So मैंने पहला first इस slide में बोला था like we can go for we can go for data description, data summarization and all those types of things available. So for this summarization and all those things, we are going for descriptive numerical descriptives. Fine. So we are going for descriptives analytics. Fine. So the visual summary of your data are excellent tools for obtaining your preliminary impressions and the insights of data. Fine. Like this is data like from this particular data. So this is an, let's say this is in square feet and this is price. So we are visualizing all those data. Fine. This is fine. We can find out like what is the exact relationship in between. So if like we are saying that on increasing the values of x, we are getting the increased value of y, so we can say that there exists some relationship between the square feet and the price of your plot. So visual summaries are very good and excellent tools for obtaining the preliminary impression of your particular data. So from this data, what we are trying to do is that we like to find out the exact summary of your data. What are the different characteristics of data, or which type of data characteristics of data your data is showing. Like for an example, like the plots are available in the size of right from 5,500 to like 2,500 square feet, or we can say that the price varies from 1 lakh to like from 9 lakhs and so on. So these are different uh, statistics are available for us. Fine. So to understand all those descriptives, we are having different measures are available to understand the characteristics or the variable of your particular data. So one of the important thing is like referred is like location or the central tendency of your data. If we can find out like what is the mean attendance or the average attendance of your class, so we can say that our average number of students are attending classes in TCSJ section is like 32 or 33. So we can find out like this is a central tendency of data. We can say that one or two students are uh, not available in the daily classes. So this is a central tendency. So first central tendency is the mean. So mean is like you are this is the sum of all observed values divided by the number of values. So because these are supposed to be like an univariate analysis, fine. So we cannot find any relationship in between with another variables, like fine. So this is how we can collect like x bar. We usually represent by x bar, or we can say that we can represent by the mu, fine. So mu or x bar is equals to like some difference between mu and x bar. Let's say suppose like right for this session you can understand like mu is equals to x bar, then we'll go for population sample and the mean sample mean, fine. So this is an x bar. X bar is equals to the sum of all variables. So this is in sign of the summation. So we are iterating from x1 plus x2 x3 x2 up to xn divided by n. So this is how we can represent like our data in then single horizontal axis. So I am having data right from this 8 9 10 and so on up to like this is an about 50, fine. So your mean is available over there, and the mean is let's say 21.18. So when we are considering this mean, this is good. But let's say I'll put 1 point over there. Let's say this is I put 1 point over there, and this is let's say 100, fine. So single one outlier is available over there. So I suppose that my data is usually distributed between like 9 to 40, 9 to 50, or let's say usually central tendencies is over there 9 to 35 or 34, fine. Then let's say I added 100 over there. So this is supposed to be the outlier of data. When I added up uh, like this 100 in between, then so your average will change right from 21 to let's say 35 or 40, let's say 35, fine. So because of this single one outliers, the mean of your data is being changed. While when we are having data like right from this sample or this sample, your mean doesn't change, fine. So your mean doesn't change. So it means that if you are having some outliers, so these outliers will affect your mean or your measure of the central tendency. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I am not defining the mean. I am just uh, like to tell that what is the effect of outliers over the means when we are considering the mean, or when we are considering the mode and median for our calculation in our statistics. So fine, this is how we can go for mean. Then let's say again, so this is supposed to be the outliers, or we can say that unwanted data, let's say some outliers are available in your class. Let's say those who are having let's say मैंने असाइनमेंट आपको दिया, आप कोई 4 दिन में दे रहा है, कोई 5 दिन में दे रहा है, दिस इज गुड, आपकी क्लास की यूनिटी है, किसी ने पहले दिन ही सबमिट कर दिया, तो दिस इज सपोज टू बी द आउटलायर्स, है ना, फाइन. So outliers affect our mean, fine. So next one is median, fine. So what is the definition? So just median is like a synonym of your middle term. So we are having lots of data available, like right as an example, as an right from your observation. So I'll represent median is an x tilde, fine. So we are considering the middle item, fine. So for considering the middle item, we are having either the length of a number of items in our observation is even, or number of observations are odd. So if the number of observation is odd, so what we can do is that we can collect like the middle one item. Let's say I am having the 11th 11 number of observations are available, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So we can pick out like the middle one item. So middle one item is like 11 plus 1 upon 2. So this is in 12th value. So sorry, 11 plus 1 by 2. So this is in 6th value. 5 from left side and 5 to the right side. So this 6th item is the middle one. if we are considering the even numbers, fine. So what we can do is that we can collect like n upon 2 and n plus 1 by 2, and then take the average of all those things. So let's say we are having an observation, so n is odd, this is fine, you can collect all those items. So this is my item 62.3, 62.3, 62.8, 63.6, 60.56, and so on. So I'm having items. The first necessary thing is that you should sort all those data right from the smallest to the largest value, and then we'll find the middle items. Fine. So I had to sort out all those data in the increasing order. So this is my data, and so the number of observations in this data is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So number of observations are the 12. So what we can do is that n is 12 by 2. So 12 by 2 is like 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is sixth value, and the next value is the seventh value. So averaging the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is sixth value and seventh value. So average of all these values by 2. So this is the average of my value. So the median will be over there if we are considering that this is the number of observations are even. Now, understanding the mean versus the median. Let's say I am having two samples. Again, I am not going for the bivariate data. I am considering the two sample analysis. Fine. So this is my sample. My sample is, मैं यहाँ लिख देता हूँ. This is 1, 2, 3, again 3, then 4, and this is 5. This is my x. This is y. This is 1, 1, 1. This is 2, 5, and 8. Again, considering the mean of this x. So mean of this particular data is again 3. You can add like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So this is near about 18. So 18 upon 6. So this is your 3. Then again this is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 5 plus 8. So this is again 18. So 18 by 6 is again 3. So mean of x and mean of y is again, let's say 3. So when we are considering these two particular samples are available, so when we are going for the central tendency, and the central tendency we are calculating only the mean. So we can suggest that by the definition of mean, we can say that these two samples are equal because they are having near about same mean. So we can consider like this data. So for this particular data, you are having mean is same. Fine. Now when we are considering the median, fine, again we are considering the median. So median, if we are having the 6 items, so 6 item is like we are considering the two central items. Those are 3 plus 3 by 2. So this is again our median is 3. This is fine. Then we are considering like this item. So the mean is like 1, median is 1 plus 2 by 2. So this is 1.5. So we can say that based on the mean, like these two samples are different. So hope you can understand the difference between mean and median, or you can go from this frequency table for your 1 and 2. So this is the difference between your x and mean and median. Again, let's say I'm in data. This is skewed data, not skewed data. Fine, मैं इसको एक बार हटा रहा हूँ ताकि मेरा स्टार्ट कर लेता हूँ और वापस इसको शो कर रहा हूँ. Fine. So let's say my data is symmetric. मेरा data symmetric है. So when I suppose that my data is symmetric, so let's say मैं इसको प्लॉट करता हूँ इस पर्टिकुलर को, तो इसकी फ्रिक्वेंसी भी एक है, इसकी फ्रिक्वेंसी भी एक है, इन सभी की फ्रिक्वेंसी एक है. तो नियर अबाउट मेरा मीन, ये जो मेरा मीन है और जो मेरा मीडियन है वो एक ही होता है ना, ये हमारा नॉर्मली डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है. देन व्हेन वी आर सेइंग दैट डेटा इज समवन skewed, either it is negative skewed or this is a positive skewed. So you can find like your mean and median is quite different over there. Fine. So this is just a relation. So we can say that your data is when we are considering this data, fine. So number of populations more are available on the positive side, so this is on this left side. So three ones are there, or you can say that like मैं इसको यहाँ से प्लॉट करने की कोशिश करता हूँ, हाँ मैं यहाँ से प्लॉट करने की कोशिश करता हूँ, मेरा डेटा ऐसा जा रहा है। तो जब मेरा डेटा ऐसा जा रहा है, फाइन, इस पर्टिकुलर डेटा पे मेरा डेटा ऐसा प्लॉट कर रहा है, तो मेरा मीडियन जो है ना, वो मीडियन जो है वो यहाँ आएगा, जबकि मेरा मीन जो है वो चेंज हो रहा है। तो देखो इस पर्टिकुलर डेटा को आप देखो, आपका मीन यहाँ आ रहा है, आपका मीडियन यहाँ आ रहा है, फाइन। सो this how we can, either we can go for, we can plot all those data on your normal scale, and then we'll check which is the best measure. So I'm having some tables, so you can go for those tables and then you can check whether which is the most appropriate thing. When the next one is the mode, so this mode is like just most frequently occurring the values right from this figure. So this is the most occurring. I am just plotting the frequency plot, no, sorry, histogram. So right from the histograms we are having the frequency. So for this particular value I am having lots of the frequency available. They like seven persons are using for this value, or if we are having the two particular modes, so this I am having multimodal data available, or this is the mode. So this how we can find out, just plotting the histogram, and we can find out which is the what is the frequency of our data right from this वैल्यू. सो आप यहाँ मेरे को बता सकते हैं कि इसमें मेरे पास मोड कहाँ आ रहा है, x के लिए मोड कहाँ आ रहा है और y के लिए मेरा मोड कहाँ पर आ रहा है? x का मोड
के लिए 3 पर और y के लिए 1 पर.
Okay, fine. So this is okay, fine, thank you. So this is how we can go for modes. Now question is that when to use mean, median and mode. So this is just a summary. If we are having data, this is nominal or categorical data, then we can go for mode. क्योंकि categorical data का कोई median तो निकलता नहीं, जिसकी frequency सबसे ज़्यादा होगी हम उसको मान लेंगे कि ये उसका mode है. Fine. So this is my nominal data, this is an categorical data. If this categorical data is having orders available, जैसे हमने orders apply करा था, factors लगाए थे, फाइन, हमने ऑर्डर्स लगाए थे लिस्ट में. सो इफ डेटा इज अवेलेबल इज ऑर्डिनल, देन वी कैन गो फॉर मीडियन. वी यूजुअली अवॉइड द character data. If like if we are having the nominal data, then we'll go for the modes, like we can count out the frequency of our data. Now if data is ordinal, we are having ordinal data आपको अरिजीत सिंह के गाने कैसे पसंद आते हैं? तो दिस इज 5 इज स्ट्रांगली एग्री एंड 1 इज स्ट्रांगली डिसएग्री. सो दिस इज माय कैटेगरिकल डेटा 5, 4 और ऑर्डिनल डेटा. फाइन. So based on this we can find out the median. Fine. Then if we are having the interval ratio available, or we can have let's say interval or ratio, or we can say that we are having numerical data, and numerical data if we don't have the skewed, मतलब मेरे पास न्यूमेरिकल डेटा है और वो कुछ इस तरह का डेटा है, then I will go for central tendency is my median, sorry, mean. If data is like this type or this type, then we'll go for median. Fine. So hope you can understand this figure or table. Is it fine? I suppose. The another characteristics like is dispersion. Fine. So when we are going for the location or the central tendency, these are supposed to be the very good characteristics. But when we are having data which is distributed with some distribution, so we have to include the variability and the dispersion of our data also, because the outliers affects your data. Right. So considering this particular example, like, so this is my data, fine. So from this data we can if we are going for like central tendency, तो our mean is near about 5. सो आपका मीन हमेशा यहीं आएगा. इस डेटा में भी जाएं और इस डेटा में भी जाएं, आप कैलकुलेट कर लें, आपका मीन यहीं आएगा. सो So we have to calculate like dispersion. Let's say an example लेके चलते हैं कि एक सैंपल है x जिसमें मिनिमम सैलरी आ रही है 10,000 पर मंथ, फाइन, और मैक्सिमम सैलरी जा रही है लेट्स से 2.5 लाख रुपए पर मंथ। एक अनदर सैंपल है जिसमें लेट्स से मेरे पास यहाँ 10 सैंपल्स हैं, 10 ऑब्जर्वेशन है, यहाँ पे भी 10 ऑब्जर्वेशन हैं, और सभी की सैलरी जो आ रही है 50,000 जा रही है, ठीक है, फाइन। सो अब हम अगर मीन निकालने की कोशिश करते हैं तो इसका भी मीन लेट्स से 50,000 सैलरी ही सभी की निकल रही है, ठीक है, और इसकी भी मीन क्योंकि सभी का 50,000 सैलरी है। सो व्हेन जब हम सेंट्रल टेंडेंसी लेके चल रहे हैं या मीन या मोड भी निकाल के चल रहे हैं या लोकेशन जिसको मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, तो नियर अबाउट सेम ही आ रहा है। अब जब नियर अबाउट सेम आ रहा है तो हम देखें कि यार गरीबी किस जगह पे ज़्यादा है, तो ऑन एन एवरेज सैलरी तो सभी की 50,000 है, तो आप क्या बता सकते हैं कि ज़्यादा गरीबी किसी को कहाँ है? तो वी कैन सजेस्ट दैट कि यहाँ पर देखिए वेरिएबिलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज हो रही है, मतलब 10,000 से लेकर 2.5 लाख तक जा रही है, 50,000, तो ऑन एन एवरेज की मैं बोल सकता हूँ कि यहाँ सब जो है मिडिल क्लास पर्सन हैं या लोअर मिडिल क्लास से लेकर हायर अपर क्लास तक, हायर मिडिल क्लास तक के पर्सन है, तो यहाँ पर ज़्यादा अफेक्ट नहीं होता है किसी भी चीज़ों का, और सारी चीज़ों का अफेक्ट यहाँ ज़्यादा होता है। तो द वन ऑफ द measures to calculate और dispersion is the range. So range में कुछ नहीं है, आप मिनिमम वैल्यू ले लो, मैक्सिमम वैल्यू ले लो, एंड दिस इज द रेंज। पर ड्रॉबैक क्या है दिस रेंज का, कि ये बीच की सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन को छोड़ देती है, बीच में कितनी भी आ रही है उसको कोई मतलब नहीं है, एक 10,000 आ रहा है, एक 2.5 लाख आ रहा है, उन दोनों वैल्यू को ले ली, उसने रेंज कर ली। अब मान लो कि 2.5 लाख के बाद 1.25 लाख और 2.25 लाख और यहाँ पे ज़्यादा आ रहे हैं, और 10,000 पे सिर्फ 2-3 ही लोग हैं, तो उसने उन चीज़ों को इंक्लूड नहीं करा। सो दिस इज द डिफरेंस डिफरेंट ड्रॉबैक ऑफ योर पर्टिकुलर रेंज। देन वी आर हैविंग सम डिस्पर्शंस अवेलेबल। सो another method is like what we can do is that we can go for dispersion, fine. So we can go for variability of your data. So let's say consider this example of the deviation of my particular data, fine. So let's say if my preferred measure for the central tendency is the mean, fine, if I am calculating the mean is my central tendency, so what is the deviation? Deviation is the set of distance, this is a set of distance from your observation from your particular mean. So let's say we are having n number of observations, so xi minus x bar is your particular deviation. So if we are having the large magnitude of the deviation, it means that we are having a high degree of variability. If we are having the smaller number of magnitudes, then we can say that we are having the low degree of variability. But problem associated with this particular deviation is that when we are adding to sum of all those data, we can find out zero. The summation of all xi's is zero, because consider this example I had taken from the Mathis Fun website. So let's say we are calculating the height of a dog, height of different dogs right from their shoulders, fine. So these are the height of your dog, so this is like 600 and this is about 500 or something, near about 500 or something like that. So this red are the height of your dogs from the shoulder, and this green line shows the mean of your data. So when we are calculating the dispersion, so dispersion is like from this mean to this is the difference, like xi minus x1 minus x bar, so the x1 minus x bar, then x2 minus x bar, then x3 minus x bar, then x4 minus x bar, and again x5 minus x bar. So when you like to add all those things, so you certainly find zero or near about zero. So we cannot find when we are calculating all those sums, the total number of variation in particular data. So the question is that question arises, or the problem arises with this particular minus sign or this particular minus signs, because few things are the positive and few things are the minus and negative. So when we are adding positive signs and the negative signs, so it will eventually go to the zero. So what is the solution? The solution is that we can normalize this negative sign over there, or we have to remove all those negative signs over there. So solution is that to remove the negative signs, what we can do is that we can add up square. So like this is 200 206 square, so this is again positive value. 76 square is again positive value. Minus 224 square is again positive value. So this is the positive value. So we have to neutralize all the negative signs and square up them. So this is my variance. So this variance is like the summation of all x's values upon n. So this is my variance. So this is my particular, not uh, uh, n. So I'm just this is not n, so I'm not dividing by this, sorry, I'm not including the degree of freedom over there. Fine. So this is my variance. So average, yeah, so this is an average case. So average case of my particular value. So this is an average square distribution, so I have to include n. Fine. So this is my variance, and then we'll go for standard deviation. To under root of deviation is your particular square root. So this is how we can go for variance and standard deviation. So how we can calculate the deviation? So like हाँ 2 मिनट और मैं बंद कर रहा हूँ. Fine. So this is last slide. Fine. So the deviation is like you can calculate. So this is my deviation. So this is just calculation. So you can calculate all those values over there. So by this calculation, what we can find out that my variance is this, and then we can go for the standard deviation. This is under root of 21704. So this is my deviation. So right from this is my one deviation, this is one deviation, no sorry, one standard deviation. So we can draw all those lines right from over there. तो वन स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन में मेरा कितना डेटा आ रहा है, तो आप ये देखो कि वन स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन आधे पॉजिटिव साइड और नेगेटिव साइड, तो अदर पॉजिटिव साइड और नेगेटिव साइड में मेरे ऑन एन एवरेज कितने डेटा आ सकते हैं. तो राइट फ्रॉम द डेफिनेशन ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन वी कैन फाइंड आउट राइट फ्रॉम वन स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन आइदर नेगेटिव साइड और पॉजिटिव साइड, हमको दोनों तरफ लेके चलना है ना. तो फ्रॉम नेगेटिव साइड और पॉजिटिव साइड वी कैन फाइंड आउट नियर अबाउट 68% ऑफ डेटा लाइज इन बिटवीन योर one standard deviation. So this is again a very good measure to summarize your data. If we are considering two standard deviation, so you can include near about like this is in 13.6 1360 like 27.2 plus 68%. So near about you can get near about 90% of your data in the two standard deviation. So this is how we can go for variance and standard deviation. So this is all about for today's class, and then we'll start with the different types of sampling in the next class. Meanwhile, if you are having any questions, then you can ask.